Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm actually going to be looking back at the last week with this M1 iMac. Yes, I have been using this blue M1 iMac for the last week and I have a lot of things I want to say about it. Some good, some bad, some things I'm going to miss, some things I kind of want in a Mac that's not in this one. So yeah, first thing I'm going to say about it is I absolutely love this design. I've got to be honest, like this minimal looking design on my desk has just been really nice and a pleasant thing to have in the room, in the space. One thing I didn't like initially was the white bezels. On day one of the unboxing, I didn't really like these. But what I have found with them is they've kind of blended into the wall. Like when you have like a white background on here, which they do in light mode and stuff, it kind of blends into the entire wall in the space. So you're not really distracted, and the black stuff is not really sticking out. Granted, I think it looks worse when it's in this state, when the white bezels are off, but when the screen is on, which is obviously when you're really looking at it, it actually makes more sense, I think, to be white in some situations. Doesn't in every situation, but it does in some. One thing about the design though that I didn't like, and I still don't, is this chin. And it's not the fact that there is a chin or there isn't a chin. I would rather there be a chin than like an Apple logo on the front, for example. I quite like the fact that there's no Apple logo on the front of it, but the chin itself, I feel like it's obviously it's an iMac, but for this blue model, for instance, I don't really like this color. You can see here, and I don't like the color that you get on like the red one. I think the color is like pink. Like this color is actually, this is all glass, so this bottom bit here isn't aluminium, this is actually glass, so it doesn't match, say, the stand below it. You can see there's more of a grey blue, whereas this is like a baby blue. But this blue color though on the back, you can see here, I love this from the moment I unboxed it, and I still do, and it looks different in every light that you have it in. But I guess, as I said in my initial video, I never saw the back of it. I only really saw the back of it obviously when I did the video, because it's up against the wall, so you never really get to see it. So yeah, I will say one thing though, having a desktop for me is the way I want to go. Like I've been using my MacBook Pro with a screen, and it's okay, but it's not this. This was a nice, pleasant experience using this, and I had fun. And I think that's one of the best things, is I found it quite a pleasant experience. But I want a bit more. So for me, I'm not like a pro. Like I would never say like I'm a pro and I need like the best ever, you know, the Mac Pro or like the XDR displays that are $5 grand or whatever. I don't need any of that. I just want a bigger screen. I want more real estate. I feel like having one screen means that I won't have to have like a dual monitor setup. I kind of do a lot of stuff on my Mac with multi-window management, especially with like my videos and stuff. I'll have files on my hard drive coming from an SD card, so I kind of want them all like doing on one end, and then I've got like my media management that I'm trying to manage and stuff. And then there's like the videos as well. Like I'm really going into the habit of using one screen as like my timeline editor, and then my browser for files, and then using the other screen as like a full preview for the video that I'm editing. So I actually like that workflow. Obviously with the iMac I haven't had a dual monitor display, but I've enjoyed it. I've had more space, so I've kind of not missed having two screens. I've had enough space, but I want a bit more. You know, some of the things are still a bit small, and I'm used to having more space. Ironically on my MacBook and my other screen, I guess. So for me, this iMac isn't really for me in the sense of it's too small. But if they released this design in a 28, 29, 32 inch, I think, whatever it is, model, and it had white bezels and stuff, I probably would get it, to be honest with you, if the price was there. I feel like they won't. I feel like the next line is going to be the iMac Pro branding. I think that's what they're going to go down, and I think it's going to be space grey, silver, maybe gold, and yeah, it's going to be the iPhone. It's literally like the iPhone. But that's what I want. I want an iMac that's a bigger screen. I think one of the biggest things I've enjoyed using this is, you know, using M1 for the first time, which people say it blows your mind. It didn't really blow my mind. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it didn't add that much value to my life. I guess the videos I'm editing are not, they're all 1080p HD, and Intel's okay for that. The only thing I really saw a big difference in is multitasking, but this is just better than that, better than what I got anyway. So normally when I edit a video, I have to edit a video, press export. It takes about 5-10 minutes to export that video, if not less actually. But then I can't go into Photoshop and start my edit on my thumbnail at the same time as it exporting. That's always a problem for me, because obviously it's part of my workflow. Like I'm trying to like do my thumbnail as my video's exporting, but I have to like, okay, go and get a drink, come back, it's exported, now start the thumbnail. But with this, I was just doing the thumbnail straight away as it was exporting, or even then, by the time I even opened Photoshop, it was just exported. So from an M1 point of view, I thought it was really good. I can't wait to actually get M1, but I think for me, what I need something more, not so much more powerful, but just bigger, a little bit better, I guess, maybe more storage. I had 256 on this one, maybe 16 gigs of RAM, just a little bit, you know. I'm like the talk of what the MacBook Pro is going to have is up to 64 gigabytes of RAM is just way what I don't even need that. I just need probably 16 gigs of RAM for multitasking, 500 gigabyte 512 hard drive or SSD, and it's a bigger screen, you know. And this doesn't do that for me, but it's a nice, pleasant experience nonetheless. Using the keyboard and the mouse as well, the Magic Mouse has just been the same old. If you've ever had or tried these before, they're the same. Touch ID, people say, is slow for some people, but for me, it was actually quite fast to just go straight into the Mac. And yeah, it does the job, you know what I mean? You're used to it so much. People are so used to now Touch ID on their MacBooks that it's something they had to do, I guess, bring it to the iMac, and it wasn't slow. It was the speed it was always to me. It wasn't much faster, slower, different. It was just the same, I guess. I do have something to say though about like the colors, and the reason why I'm kind of against the colors after having this, because as I said at the beginning of the video, you don't see the back of the machine. So if you're going to put it in somewhere that you're going to see it, then I guess that's a good thing, because you'll be seeing the colors more often. But the colors you tend to see a lot are obviously your accessory colors, these ones, as well as your stand, and then your chin, obviously. So you kind of got to like all three of them. And when I looked at all the iMacs in the Apple store recently, I didn't actually like any of the colors apart from the silver. Like for me, if I was going to get this machine, I would just get silver. For me, the colors wear off. It's like the same with my iPhone. I got gold, and I didn't even think I've seen gold on my iPhone because it's just behind a silicone case for the last year practically. But that's just personal preference. Obviously, if you want a color, you get a color, but for me, I just don't think I would. I also think having a color is kind of harder to sell in some cases, because most people are not looking for a blue iMac. They're more likely to just sell a silver. I remember having a space gray MacBook Pro, and it took so long to sell it. Like nobody wanted to buy it. But every silver machine I've ever had is just always gone. I don't know why, but space gray, from my experience, it's just always been harder to sell, especially on Macs anyway. But all in all, there's been a few things that I've missed, and I have missed having an iMac nonetheless. You know, this setup is okay, but it's not great, and I do miss that little bit more power just to get my videos exported and be able to do multitasking on there. And that's what M1 has done. And like I said, I'm pleasantly surprised, because at the beginning of my video I just didn't like this design, and it's grown on me. It looks good in the space. Even like the size of the screen is actually good for the room size I got. So, you know, but at the end of the day, when I'm looking to buy like a new iMac or whatever, it's got to be functional over aesthetic. Like it's got to be functional, because it's a tool. It's doing a job for me. You know, it's editing my videos, it's doing my home personal finance or whatever it is. Like I'm using it as a computer. It needs to be functional, it needs to do what I need it to do. It can look great, but that's not the top of the list for me. So all in all, I'm going to be returning this iMac, and I'm kind of going to like sit on it. I'm deciding which Mac or Macs I want to have in my, I guess, arsenal in the future, because I'm just going to decide on, do I even need one iMac? Do I want a MacBook Pro? Can my iPad become my laptop? Just trying to go through this year and trying to figure it out. But I'm going to make my final decision when the bigger iMac has been unveiled and the new MacBook Pros come out, redesign as well. So I'm kind of waiting for those to make my final decision come the end of the year. But if you are looking for a computer, this iMac I would recommend to anybody. I've had real fun, as I say, using it. If you're a student and you're just looking for something just to get your work done, this is great. And I think it comes in at such a good price as well. It's $1,299 starting price, but I would ignore that price and just invest in the £1,449 one, I think it is, here, because in that you get things like Touch ID, you get a few more colors, you get more storage, you get more, I think you get 2 more cores on your GPU or CPU, but you get a bit more, and all in all it adds up, you know, the £200 difference. Basically I think 100 quid is like this keyboard alone. So you may as well get the second tier up, the one with more colors, and this is the one I had. It's a great machine. I'm just unfortunate that it just wasn't for me. There was too many things that were there that just, you know, ended it for me. But I've loved having it, and I can't wait for the fall to get the iMac Pro, or the bigger one, whatever it is. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I did use M1 for 1 week, as I said in my first video. If you did miss the unboxing and my first impressions of this, go and check it out. I think I had a few hundred views on this, so that's great. So if you want to go over there, please check it out, or subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.